We have a problem with the clinical social workers in the educational system parlaying themselves to create a industry of psychiatrists build mental health workers to feed off of the residents and the students, to dislodge their parents, to undermine their parents' authority, to create industry so the state government employees can get more money to fund their projects.
An enormous body of research is emerging that shows substantive links between magnetic fields and cognitive function. Back in 1978, research physicist Dr. Robert C. Beck published preliminary research on the effects of extremely low-frequency magnetic fields on the moods of human subjects. ELF fields of 6.67 Hz, 6.26 Hz, and lower tend to produce symptoms of confusion, anxiety, depression, tension, fear, mild nausea, and headaches.
And in a place called Daymart Recovery Services, they have white noise machines that produce this megahertz here. One has as many as 10 in one hallway at the door of each office to subjugate the employees and the clients that walk in that hallway. And they look like that, little boxes outside every door. And when you walk out of them places, you have a tremendous headache. Now, they got digital boxes on every household now. And it needs to be investigated because they're trying to create an industry off of. To get this, they had a uptick of 33% mental health diagnosis, and that was through forced cohorst. What's them things called? Excuse me. Mental health assessments that had the 33% uptick in diagnosis of depression because they forced parents to go through clinical social worker programs. I sent my kid to school. Then one day after work, he was taken at school. They took him, they coerced a statement, they turned the statement into a damning testimony. The judge rubber stamped it. They took my child into custody, saying that I was punching, slapping, beating, and all this stuff, which was a bunch of felonious garbage. Me and my son have a great that scene right here. As I punch him, I work him over. I'm working him over. So this is prior to the incident where they claim that I beat, slapped, and choked him out, and that he was deathly afraid of me at all the times except for at the grocery store. And this is garbage. So this is him. No, that's not him. There he is. Taking on the instructor. They wouldn't let him press a kid like that. And this is another thing they want budgeted money for. So in all, man, they're forcing people to have to be. They're assaulting people with their clinical social workers to get an uptick in depression. So the school teachers can also get a a raise. They up to $55,000 a year each teacher, and while law enforcement and everybody else in the community struggle to make ends meet, creating tension, they are trying to breed a clinical social worker class of industry. The residents in this community are at $7.50 for minimum wage, while teachers get $55,000 a year, and the clinical social workers and the teachers assault the parents with allegations of abuse and neglect. The judicial system rubber stamps it and attacks the people. Out of my defense, the judiciary, I defeated the first charges, then the judiciary attacked me with another bunch of charges about medical neglect and stuff, which I got paperwork from the doctors, and I got the attendance records that all show that every absence was excused properly except for one. And then the doctor's note that says that I took my son to the doctor multiple times, and everything that they said at the court to slander me and defame me is false, but the judge still ain't thrown it out. He's making me jump through these hoops and go through all this rigmarole, causing great mental stress and just destroying our whole year, in a year that everything could be going good, for nothing more than to get an uptick in clinical social worker cases so they can get money from the budget. Just like the states set a low minimum wage to pander for Social Security benefits for their McDonald's and Walmart workers, the county's doing the same thing to get more seats in clinical social worker positions. We have to stop that. They took and they were seeing my son at a counselor, and they denied seeing my son with counselor what are them things called? Services, but they were talking to him for 4 months before they got this coercive statement that they typed up. They didn't even get it on video. This investigator that the school counselor called coerced my son, and she denied knowing me, although she knows me very well. And this clinical social worker in court says that most of our employees have rocky past that they have rebounded from, and now they're wishing to do help in the community. She's a meth head that got busted, turned into a snitch, and made a career out of going around and being an intake worker for the Department of Social Services. They admitted in court that they're all ex-meth heads and stuff like that, and they're safer than me because I wrestle and spar with my son. And oh my God. So hopefully, Mr. Trump, you will get aggressive and rein in these people that are undermining the ability of good parents, people that put their children above anything else in their life. I might protest and I might call and say I don't want to take and have to go out here and get $1.40 every day for these government employees, which I don't. We should do it all on a transaction tax. That way we don't have to go out here and get money when we don't need money. So if we want to be green and we want to tend our garden all summer and winter and see how self-sufficient we can be, now we got great tools like the internet to access a world of information and educate ourselves free of the coercive de-education of the government employees, because they want people who are in need. They don't want free thinking individuals. I didn't go to public schools. I can't stand getting up before sun gets up. I get up right when the sun gets up at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the summertime. But in the wintertime, it makes me agitated that I have to get up before the sun gets up. I do. And then I call and I complain. And they don't like it, evidently, because I'm trying to break free of this deficient system that's got people out here subjected to the low frequencies, shooting up their schools. Everybody that I know that's going to public schools, most of them, have wound up in prison or doing shady stuff and don't get caught, but they know how to turn into snitches. My school, none of them, except for the ones that went to public school, have been infected like that and have a recidivism rate of crime. Please help. We got to rein in these people pandering and destroying good families to create a budget that they can draw a pension off of.